Pardon me. Are there any Canon engineers watching? The 1D Mark II. Expensive camera. Can we make it better by having the rear screen flip out so that I can see whether I'm in the frame when I record one of these videos? What I'm here to talk about today are two beautiful books. Tribe of Mentors and Tools of Titans. Now, I'm not sure whether you've heard of Tim Ferris. To be honest, if you haven't, you might be the second coming of Encino Man. Tim Ferris first came to prominence in my world back in the early 2000s with the publishing of the 4-Hour Workweek. Now, I read that book at the time. I wasn't overly excited by it. I felt it was more marketing hyperbole than it was substance. That was 10 years ago. In fairness, I'd like to give it another read today. Life circumstances are different. Perhaps I'd look upon it differently. But these two books, Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors, for me, are a totally different kettle of fish. Tim, these days, is most widely known for his number one business podcast. He maintains this number one business podcast status by interviewing a variety of entrepreneurs, is probably the best word to summarise all those people from all different fields of life. One thing they do have in common is they are highly successful. And so that's what these two books are all about. It's the highlight interviews and the highlight takeaway points from those interviews compacted into two books. I would like to thank Carolyn Creswell from Carmen's Muesli for bringing Tools of Titans to my awareness. Highlight sections from both books for my part, and I do apologise if I mispronounce anyone's name. I am Australian after all, so my bandwidth for language is very narrow, but sections which I found appealing were those by Peter Attila, 5 Tools for Better Sleep, 5 Morning Rituals, Peter Diamandis, Naval Ravikant, Good by Jocko Willenick, Adriana Huffington, and a bunch of others if I wanted to go on, but I don't want to bore you, so I won't. The great thing about these books is that they don't focus on celebrity. It's just about one thing: have you been successful in life? And therefore, we want to break down why it is that you've been successful. What are the habits? What are the rituals? What are the little tidbits that you've picked up in your own life that have gotten you to where you are today? Now, I don't want to bang on about any more content in these books. I think the proof of any sort of self-help book is all in what you actually implement into your own life. So for mine, I've come across a bunch of exercise that I now use, both weighted and non-weight exercise. How to be more grateful, especially under scenarios where you're stressed or under duress. How to say no in certain circumstances and therefore protect your own time. It's benefited me by setting up lists within Twitter to follow people, and also lists within Amazon under the categories of home, technology, fitness, or further reading. The strongest overriding theme in Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors is basically how to be more present-minded and focused on getting ahead with your priorities in life rather than being distracted by rat bait such as one of these little items. If you were to read these books purely to only control your rat brain instincts with regards to controlling this rather than it controlling you, then I would recommend delving headstrong into both editions, Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors. They're beautifully designed books, weighty, nice sized texts for quick progress within the book. Content is obviously first rate. I wouldn't be talking about it otherwise. It could do with a better glue in the binding. Doesn't smell as good as it should. Shooter, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've done my best to impress you. I've flicked the light on. I've shut the garage door. I'm wearing a wire. I've just had a little fiddle with the contrast, and I hope it's up to your exacting standards.